We could be, all joking aside, in Guantanamo Bay if he puts dissidents and radio hosts there.
Oh,
and
I know.
Who's going to stand up for us? Because you're right, the muted response here emboldens him to go to the next step, which is rounding up U.S. citizens and making up allegations, the idea of suspending habeas corpus, which is in the Constitution in Article 1.
You have filed a Freedom of Information request. Tell us about this.
Trump, well, let's put it this way. When Elon Musk came to power, not Donald Trump, when Elon Musk came to power, he's being investigated by more than 30 different investigations going on, 11 different agencies, from the FAA, the Security Exchange Commission, to the Consumer Finance Protection Board. All these investigations going on when Trump gets sworn in. And when I saw numerous articles posing questions about what's the status of these investigations, even the New York Times did a great job detailing the investigations. So what I did is made a Freedom of Information Act request and sent it to all these agencies to find out the status of the investigations. And the point is, Tom, has Trump shut them down? Or have the agencies on their own said, okay, Elon Musk is president, let's shut the investigations down, let's close the file, let's put it in the storeroom, let's dismiss the charges, whatever it is. So that's my point. And I plan to write articles based on what I hear from these various agencies. But there's some serious stuff here. Securities Exchange Commission for stock fraud, from over 300 complaints about Tesla, about not just the car, but about financing issues that were raised by people, to the FAA, fining him over $600,000, seeking $600,000 plus dollars from him for SpaceX. And where are those? What happened that? If that's dismissed, are they letting him go on that? We need to know the answers to show even more of the corruption of this oligarchy.
Well, and then there's the secondary question, or maybe even the primary question. Did Musk put $270 million into getting Donald Trump elected, and whatever he and Donald Trump joked about with regard to the voting machines in Pennsylvania, did he do that specifically for this reason? Is that the only reason that he's doing all this stuff? It's not Curtis Yarvin or some, weird mad monk philosopher who says that we should replace democracy with autocracy. It's that Elon Musk is looking for a fig leaf, an excuse to shut down, a bunch of investigations into, every one of his companies was under investigation, and some of these investigations could produce really serious damage to him and his companies. And, it sure looks to me like he's succeeded in shutting them all down.
Look, he was just about to go with Deutsche to investigate the Securities Exchange Commission. To give people a little quick primer on that one, when Elon Musk was buying Twitter, it was a publicly traded company. If you acquire 5% of any publicly traded company, you have to report, you're obligated by the Security Exchange Commission Act to report to the public that you've done this. And he didn't on purpose because it would have driven the stock price up. So he was able to buy Twitter for a ridiculous amount, but actually lower than perhaps he would have had to pay. And
right, it saved him billions of dollars, him and the Saudis.
And the SEC is looking for disgorgement of profits and other civil penalties. Is that gone? We don't know. That's my whole point. So I think, Tom, I don't know Elon Musk. What we do know of him is that he wants to make more money because the wealthy always want to make more money. It's insatiable appetite for wealth and for power. So Elon Musk wants to get rid of any investigations, to make more money, and rule the world. Because, Tom, he's not an American. He's a U.S. citizen, yes. He is a guy who wants to run Germany, France, the UK, the United States. He wants to take the apartheid system he grew up in and make that the system here. Just today he was tweeting about how white people in South Africa are being treated so horribly by black people. He is fueling discontent. He is trying to incite violence. He did it against the judges who ruled against him early on in his cases that they're dealing with the executive orders against Donald Trump. He's very dangerous, like mini Trump, but even more dangerous. His aspirations go way beyond the boundaries of our nation. He's a dangerous person. He's a cancer to democracy.
How do you, first of all, what's the status of your FOIA filings? How does that work?
Well, for some of them, I got an instant response, like, here is your case number. I think it was auto set up. A few, the FAA actually called me yesterday and said, you have to file with the DOT, Department of Transportation, because they're underneath that. So I go to the DOT website, and while it's easy on most websites to file a FOIA request, this one, it had to generate a certain code for me, and it wouldn't do it. So it looks like I'm stuck doing a letter to them, which I will do. Another agency responded saying it was to the wrong place that someone else is handling, but they were nice enough to say we're going to forward it. So look, it could be weeks, it could be months. I actually get some response, but whatever I get, I will write about it and share it. And I hope others, the New York Times, Washington Post, and other places are doing the same thing. Stay on top of this. If the investigation is all shut down, it is more quid pro quo. It is, you gave me $270 million bucks. Now I'm getting rid of all the investigations into you. This is corruption. It is brazen corruption, Tom. In the Gilded Age, they'd be embarrassed by how brazen this is.
Yeah, this goes beyond William Cooper in Montana, or Teapot Dome. What was his name? Albert Fell, or Fall, I believe, was the Secretary of the Navy under Silent Cal, under Calvin Coolidge. Who took the bribe for the Teapot Dome gas storage. I mean, that was Piker stuff, and that nearly brought down the Coolidge administration. I mean, this is just, I agree, it's just absolutely massive. Dean, I'm curious your thoughts on. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk with you about, actually. First off, I'm curious your thoughts on my assertion that Putin owns Trump, that there's no other rational explanation for Trump selling out Ukraine. What am I missing?
I think you're right. And I read your newsletter, and I was nice of you to say nice things about my newsletter. And if you're listening and not subscribing to the Hartmann Report, go subscribe. I read it every single day, and then I steal ideas from my show. No, I don't do that. I get smarter by reading it. Look, I think we all know that Donald Trump had an affinity to Vladimir Putin from years and years ago. And let's remind everybody, in the Mueller report, it was very clear Putin helped Donald Trump win. What they did not find was a coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia, so they couldn't charge anyone in the Trump campaign, but they charged Russians. Trump knows it. He knows Putin's his buddy. I also think, Tom, in a much darker way, that Donald Trump aspires to be an autocrat like Putin, and that if he gets Putin on his side, who's going to stand up to him? If he starts taking parts of Canada or Greenland or Gaza or the Panama Canal, between them, they're like the new axis of evil leaders, and they're going to audition someone else to be their third part to divide up the world. And Tom, if we write about any other country where the leader was doing what Trump did, sides with Vladimir Putin over the people of Ukraine, convicted of felonies for cheating the 2016 campaign, charged with felonies for cheating the 2020 campaign, inciting a terrorist attack on our capital, pardoning the terrorists, and now talking about taking other countries, Greenland, Canada, Panama, we'd say the world should watch out because that person's a threat to democracy, and the U.S. should sanction that country led by that person. That's where we are. Take a step back, folks. If you were looking at the outside, what Donald Trump is doing, you'd be saying that nation is a cancer to democracy. It is a threat and should be sanctioned. That's where we are. We're living in a country run by a dangerous person who's going to make us a pariah state on the world stage. That's where we're heading as the United States of America. Instead of the nation that upholds those values, we're going to be the ones that they're going to impose it on us. We might get sanctioned by some of our Western allies going forward.
Yeah. Also, I don't think there's probably very many Americans who would object to people who are here without documentation who have committed crimes. And it's not a crime, by the way, to be here without documentation. It's a civil offense. You get it's like a parking ticket. But people who have committed a crime being deported. But we now know the names of, I believe, 6 people, just based on photographs that were taken, who have been deported to Guantanamo Bay. And 3 of those 6 were not criminals. They had not committed any crime. And I'm just astonished, A, that this is happening, and B, that there hasn't been a more broad and outraged response to the United States reprising this horror show offshore where American law does not apply, on Cuba, for God's sake. And the example it sets to the world, and I'm just blown away by it. I'm curious your take on it all.
This is the example Trump wants to set. He feels very comfortable with the autocrats and following their playbook. Donald Trump is not an isolationist. He's not an isolationist at all. He's an imperialist. He is like Putin. Putin wanted Ukraine, he went into it. Donald Trump keeps saber rattling about taking Canada or Greenland or Panama Canal. We will wake up one day and have U.S. troops or warships surrounding the Panama Canal. It is deeply concerning. And Tom, we've talked about this before. The first group that Hitler put in camps were not the Jews. They were political dissidents. They were people that Hitler viewed as a threat. About 25,000 German citizens who were critics were put in camps within 7 months of Hitler coming to power. That's the first group. Right
but
after
it was the socialists. It was the equivalent of Bernie Sanders.
Exactly, and who they call communists. But anyone who stood up to, and then there was the blood purge where they actually killed people who were even part of their own movement.
Right,
they did not feel loyal
yeah.
enough to Donald Trump. Exactly. So he is following that playbook. This is deeply alarming. It is almost surreal, Tom, to read books about autocrats and see it playing out in front of us. We could be, all joking aside, in Guantanamo Bay if he puts dissidents and radio hosts there.
Oh,
and
I know.
Who's going to stand up for us? Because you're right, the muted response here emboldens him to go to the next step, which is rounding up U.S. citizens and making up allegations, the idea of suspending habeas corpus, which is in the Constitution in Article 1, in times of invasion and rebellion, that habeas corpus, meaning you could be charged without even having crimes asserted against you, just rounded up and held indefinitely. Donald Trump knows about it. Stephen Miller knows about it. The people he surrounded are bad faith actors. They know Lincoln did it. And
Trump has fantasized about it openly.
This is this is beyond a red alarm. We're in a place that I can't believe. It is like surreal, Tom. I can't believe where we are.
Yeah.
We would, another time, we'd seem hyperbolic and almost hysterical. Now I think we're actually too calm for what we're facing because I think we're trying to process it intellectually, and it's very hard.
And this is the big challenge, Dean, and we just have 20 seconds left. But for so many Americans, democracy is an abstraction. How do we break through?
Mm-hmm. All I can do is keep talking about it with you and writing articles and trying to build allies, build community, build alliances beyond your base. Even people on the right who hate Trump or are conservatives, but they're pro-America first, not pro-Trump first. Build allies. We're going through a very difficult time. That's the only thing I advocate.
The Steve Schmitz of the world. Yeah, I totally get it. It's the great Dean Obeidallah, the host of the Dean Obeidallah Show, Monday through Friday, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m. on Sirius Progress, right here, Sirius Progress, XM Progress Channel 127. Be sure to check out his newsletter, his Substack newsletter, Dean's Report, the Dean's Report, easy to find. Dean, again, thank you for dropping by. It's always great.
You're
great talking with you.
Thanks,
Yep. It's 18 minutes past the hour.